Transported to Commons Park in Minneapolis, where sunshine and clear skies will give way to clouds and thunderstorms. We've got some showers out there already across the northern plains. They are on the move, and a scene like this here, be ready. Break out those rain boots. Severe storms actually could soak the upper Midwest today and march east across the Great Lakes tomorrow. So I want to time all of this out. Right now, we're kind of in between everything. You can see the system off to the south, Minneapolis, and some of the clouds getting closer to you, and then the system off to the west, and you can see the clouds getting closer to you. But we're in a beautiful morning right now in between it all here in the Twin Cities. But by later today into tonight, everything comes our way, and we do get that risk of thunderstorms, possible severe weather, damaging winds and hail, the main threat. So let's track it and time it and just actually talk about how the atmosphere has changed compared to what we had maybe over the weekend. The moisture has come back. It feels a little more humid. The background color is the dew points. So those are all up across this area. Temperatures are warm. We've got 85 degrees in Minneapolis today, and with that higher dew point, it's going to feel really sticky and really kind of summer-like out there for you. So the next ingredient that we need to look out for is how much instability is in the atmosphere. That's this background color we've got on this map with the forecast, with the radar. And as we look forward to the future, and we see these bigger amounts of instability to the south, that's the kind of air that we're going to get up here to the north. So we're going to see the instability gaining. We're going to watch the mid-level winds actually cross this area too. So enough features are coming together that we've got that risk for severe weather here. And now that background instability color, you see how that flares up into the bright red colors, indicating higher amounts of atmospheric instability. That's fuel for the thunderstorms to basically use. And we've got that risk of severe weather. This is about 5 o'clock. The rush hour home will not be fun in the Twin Cities. Up towards Duluth a little bit later, maybe about 7 o'clock or so. Coming down through Iowa too, Mason City, Des Moines, get ready for thunderstorms. And Chicago, we could have a few storms before this, but we'll still track this main event here coming your way as we get into the overnight hours. We'll see how much of that severe potential holds here. At that point, instability is waning. Molly?
Same system. Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Philly, and even areas like Syracuse and a lot of New York State. New York City not included, but New York State could be seeing the flash flooding and could affect the boys of summer too. Sorry for you in Philadelphia. The game tomorrow against the Brewers looks pretty stormy, especially around first pitch, 4 o'clock. Now these will be hit or miss storms, but still lightning outside, stadiums, baseball, never a good combination. Let's get the timing for you as we watch this cold front move to the east. By Thursday morning, we have rain in New York City along the 95 corridor up through Boston, parts of Washington, D.C., the Beltway. Could be a rough commute as the rain falls on Thursday morning down through Chattanooga, and then parts of Atlanta could also be a wet commute for you. And then we get to Friday morning and then Friday evening. We still have some showers trying to linger around New England. In the Boston area, we could have some showers as we start off the weekend, but they are going to be very light, very hit or miss as we finally see the final few gasps of breath of this system moving through. Flash flooding is possible Thursday through Friday morning for areas in New England, Boston, Portland, 95 corridor. You're included in that. Jen?
Does it matter how far out? I'm wondering. You guys have to weigh in on this. So if it's a forecast for thunderstorms a week out or a day out,
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that makes a big difference because, when you look at a forecast for the summertime, it's usually hot, 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 hot. So at some point,
scattered thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms.
Right. So what makes you change your plans?
Yes.
Is it one or the other, or is it both? You can go to Threads to send us your comments, and you can share your pictures and video with us using the hashtag YesTV.
Now, we already shared that comment, right? Yes, we did. All right, so coming up this morning here on America's Morning Headquarters, it's a place we've all heard about.
The upper Midwest, including places like foggy Duluth, Minnesota, where there's a dense fog advisory, and we're expecting to see storms fire up later tonight. But then the severe threat shifts eastward into places like Pittsburgh, where storms could blow up Wednesday into Thursday, as well as the Philly area. So we're talking several rounds of storms moving our way and moving to the east. Let's start in Michigan, where we actually have a flash flood warning. This is in Manistee County. It goes until 12:30 with 2 to 3 inches of rain that has already fallen. More is on the way. You can see it's kind of training over the same areas again and again. So if you have plans, say, around the Traverse City area or over towards Orchard Beach State Park, that's a popular spot this time of year. This is what we're dealing with. That's a pretty small area as far as the flash flood warning, but of course very impactful if you're in that area. But we're watching clusters of these showers and thunderstorms left over from the overnight and early morning activity now giving way to afternoon and evening activity once again. And if this outlook looks familiar, it's because, yeah, we've been doing it over and over again in many of the same areas. And it seems like the same time frame, too. Morning and then again in the evening. The instability is building. You can see in those darker colors of orange starting to pop in areas like Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, as well as Iowa. That's the instability that's building in, and it's going to be a lot stronger by the time we get to this afternoon. In fact, look at it build into the Twin Cities, Green Bay, Mason City, up towards the Duluth area, where once the fog continues to lift, we'll see the really strong sun angle and, of course, then the instability. 5 p.m. we have a line of storms rolling into Duluth as well as the Twin Cities down through Des Moines, which has had a beautiful start to the day. However, that's going to change by the second half of the day. And then even some storms in Chicago. So if you have a later evening flight, keep that in mind. Or maybe if your flight is originating from Chicago, you could run into some delays if you have air travel. We will see this front move to the east. And once it does, there's some cooler and drier air behind it. That's going to feel really nice. Meanwhile, parts of the south and mid-Atlantic and the northeast,
the better the forecast, actually, the more we know about what's happening in the environment now, the better we can predict how that's going to change in the future. Now, at the moment, we've got no tropical development expected over the next 7 days. We look out over the Atlantic Ocean, look out over the Caribbean, and you probably noticed, I mean, first of all, this string of thunderstorm clusters out here, this in the intertropical convergence zone, the ITCZ. Nothing expected to develop here. But, you know, you watch a couple areas through the Western Caribbean, getting over closer into the Western Atlantic. And at the moment, the wind shear too strong, but certainly this is an area to keep an eye on in the coming days and weeks, because it's a traditionally active time to be watching this area.
And this is a traditionally hot time in a place like Las Vegas, another spot that will need to be on alert for dangerous heat today. You are on track to tie the record for the earliest 110-degree day. Not a record you want to tie or even get close to, right? Las Vegas, your average high is in the mid-90s, 96 this time of year, but every single day for the remainder of the week, right into the weekend, we are going to be well above that, 10 to 15 degrees above that, and that makes it downright dangerous outside. So let's talk the heat in not only Las Vegas, but some of the surrounding areas. And keep in mind, I'm standing in a parking lot here in Las Vegas. When you add in some of the asphalt and some of the urban heat island effects, it feels even hotter outside. Now, excessive heat warnings in Las Vegas, heat advisories just to the north of Vegas, but the pink area, that's the excessive heat warning, that extends all the way through Phoenix, Tucson, over to portions of California, the Sacramento Valley. It is going to be extremely hot with the pattern that is building in. And you can see the triple digits go all the way up to Redding. And we even see some 90s building into parts of New Mexico. That's the heat wave that it will be expanding day after day after day as our ridge of high pressure gets stronger and stronger. Wednesday, here's a look at some of the records that are in jeopardy, including Flagstaff, Las Vegas, 109, you could be tying the record. Fresno, the record 107. We're going to be really close to that, 105. Just an idea of how hot it's going to be. Yes, it's this time of year, it does get hot. But when you start talking about breaking records in early June, Jen, never a good thing.
I was noticing that pavement around you, Molly,
know, right?
and thinking
it looks hot just looking at it.
It looks hot just looking at it.